This training video will teach you how to perform blue steel pattern classification qualifications. Now, you're required to do 35 tasks in order to complete this qualification task. This is how the task looks. You will be presented with an image, and next to it there will be classifications the pattern of the shirt or the pants could fall into, and you are basically required to choose based on the guidelines given which pattern does this apparel fall into. Now, let's go through the instructions first. Now, what are you given? As I explained, you'll be given an image with an apparel, and there will be classifications, 33 classifications, where there are 33 different patterns that you need to choose. Now, if any of the patterns that is provided to you does not fall under any of the 33 patterns, you need to choose other prints. Now, do not accidentally pick non-applicable for pictures that do not fall into the 33 patterns. Now, once you have completed all 35 images, you will be presented with a stop sign symbol where you need to just exit the task. Now, let's go through the pattern classifications to understand them better. So, animal print, pattern name, basically it's a print where you have any two-legged or four-legged animals in the print of that apparel. Okay, and it could be certain, like butterflies also can also be in the design. Now, next is Argyle pattern. So basically this pattern is made of shapes of diamond. Typically there are overlaying intercrossing diagonal shapes, okay, between the solid diamond colors. So here are some examples. The next is chevron, where it is basically a pattern where it's an inverted V pattern that goes along from one end to the other end without disruption. Okay, it basically looks like a seamless zigzag pattern. Okay, here are the examples that's provided. Diagonal stripes are basically apparels with slanted lines. Okay, where it basically the lines go from one corner of the apparel to the furthest other corner away. Okay, so here are the examples. Can you see from one top to the other end? Now, gingham checkers is basically a checked pattern, consists of two squares with different colors positioning in alternate positions. So basically here, different colors. Okay, so grid pattern is where straight lines that cross over each other forming squares. So as you can see, this is grid pattern. Now, please do not mistaken it for gingham check print. Okay, basically these are squares positioning in alternate colors. This is basically lines that go cross each other. Okay. Now, and basically herringbone is basically a pattern where it is a rectangular shaped pieces, equal sizes. Okay, they are arranged in staggered or broken zigzag pattern. So as you can see, this designs, they are all rectangular shaped color patterns where they are arranged on a staggered manner, or it can also be in a broken zigzag pattern like this. Horizontal basically are stripes that goes from left to right. Okay, it can be in different colors. Houndstooth is basically a large check pattern with notched corners that looks like a canine's tooth. That's where it gets the name houndstooth. So here you see the notched corners where it looks like a canine's tooth. Now, marled is basically a piece of two-toned candy cane or spotted effects apparel where you can see it mostly on sweaters or scarves. Okay, it has some kind of it has the kind of where you can see the candy cane effect or the spotted effects. Okay, solid colors is basically clothes that consist a single color. Okay, plaid is basically a pattern formed a criss-crossing line. Okay, varying the width of one. Okay, so it will be different. There will always be a line that is usually thinner than the others. Okay, and it usually can come in 1, 2, or 3 different colors. Okay, and there's usually lines that are thick and thin. Now, polka dots obviously is a pattern that consists of small circles, usually they're same size, around the particular apparel. Vertical stripes are basically stripes that go from up to down. Okay, here are the examples. And now, Aztec or tribal print is basically apparel that is a combination, it's a mixture of stripes, polka dots, chevrons, and also different geometric patterns. A combination of all this will be classified as Aztec or tribal pattern. Here are some examples. Okay, Baroque paint is a highly ornate and often extravagant style. Okay, so you basically have bright colors, and you have usually yellow is a prominent color, which symbolizes power, money. Okay, so Baroque. Okay, so basically remember, it's a highly sophisticated design, okay, and often extravagant style. Okay, now batik print is a process where the cloth is basically covered with a wax and then it's dyed. Okay, it usually focus on a lot of abstract or floral motifs, and sometimes it can be found in bright colors or usually brown or yellow colors. Okay, and usually the theme usually is often a floral motif, but at the same time you can really see that it is basically the drawings on that piece of cloth is actually used with the wax. Camouflage is obviously a combination of colors and patterns that looks like the clothes that the soldiers wear, where it helps you to blend with the surroundings. These are the examples. Of course, cheetah leopard print is basically the pattern of the skin of a cheetah, okay, or leopard. And floral motif. Now, floral motif is basically a pattern or design where the apparel is repeated. Okay, the design of the floral is repeated. Okay, by itself. Okay. Now, the next one is slightly similar to the floral motif, which is it's called floral print, where a fabric or design that has flowers on it. So basically, this is also a very closely related to the floral motif. Okay, but then the difference is basically this only has flowers on it, flowers and the leaves basically. And basically, you can actually see that. Well, the major difference between the floral motif and the floral print is that the floral print has got actual flowers on it, and the floral motif uses inspirations of the floral print. Okay, where you can see shapes of flowers. Okay, where you can actually see shapes of flowers, but there are repeated design around that particular apparel. Okay, now geometric print are basically patterns and shape that consists of regular shapes and lines. So basically triangle, squares, rectangular, all those geometric shapes, those are geometric print. Heart print is basically a fabric or piece of apparel that has repeating heart shapes on it. A Jaguar print is basically a pattern where it's woven into the weaves instead of being printed or dyed. So they will basically blend the that particular lines, or you can see the difference. Okay, instead of just printing on it. Okay, now it can be found in intricate cushion designs, curtains, sofa, and upholstery fabrics. Okay, so it can have any design. It can have a damask, it can have floral, it can have geometry, it could just have anything. But the main importance is if you should be able to see that it is stitched into the cloth instead of being printed or dyed. Okay. Hombre print is basically where you have a gradual change of one color's hue to another. So you know the where you have a dark blue and it slightly goes to the light blue here. So these are all the examples. So it's not just random colors. There is a slight change of the color hue here. Okay, these are all the examples. Okay, paint splatter print is basically a t-shirt or any apparel that looks like there are splashes of color on them, and the colors could be any color. Okay, but it'll basically look like someone actually took some a brush or some colors and just poured on top of the clothing. Speckled print is basically covered with a mark, okay, marked, okay, or marked with a number of small or patched of colors. So you see, they have a large number of small spots. Okay, it's different from polka dots because polka dots are circles that are same size. This is basically spots that can be different shapes and sizes. Okay, and or it could also be patches. Okay, where you see this, there's a big patch here and then there's like tiny patches here. Okay, now do not mistaken this kind of design for paint splatter print, because paint splatter print usually has more than just two colors. Like this only has black and white. Okay, parsley, obviously, paisley, okay, a teardrop shaped motif with a curved upper end. So at the top here you see it looks like a teardrop, and then at the top here you can see the curved, okay, it curved up to the end. Okay, the design. Right, now snake print obviously resembles the skin of a snake. Tie-dye is basically where the cloth is actually you basically twist, fold and crumple the fabric, okay, and then maybe you tie it with a rubber string and then you dip it in dye. Okay, you dip it in dye so that when you dry it, eventually it has a certain pattern where you can actually see the design is like this. Okay, so basically these are all applications where they twist the cloth in a certain angle and then they dip it into dye, so then it becomes this kind of design. Okay, star print, a fabric or design that has star shapes on it across the particular clothing. Tropical print basically is an explosion of different colors, okay, that encompass of flora and fauna, beaches, gardens and islands. Now these clothes usually are loose and not fitting, and they're usually casual, and they have some bright colors on it. Okay, remember not to be mistaken this for the floral print, because floral print only focus on the flowers and the leaves. This is basically a mix of flora, fauna, beaches, forests and gardens. There are a lot of different elements, okay, of nature, and they are loose and not tight. Okay, so another way is basically if the apparel gives you a sense of the Hawaii feeling, so that is tropical print. Zebra print is basically, it resembles the skin or fur of a zebra. So when do you choose other print? Okay, so the option other print, okay, basically if a clothing does not meet any of these 33 designs provided, you choose other print. Now for qualification, you will not use this image because this is only for poor images or if there is just a blank photo. Okay, so let's go through the other print. So basically these are samples of graphic tees. Okay, now although like this case there is a heart shape, the rule for it to be a heart shaped apparel is basically the entire apparel should be covered with that print, not just one big piece of heart here. And same goes for the star print also. Okay, it should be covered with the particular print, okay, not just one. So if it's just one, then it becomes a graphic tee. So obviously this is a mixture, okay, of Mickey Mouse, is a cartoon character. Okay, it's not an animal print, because Mickey Mouse is a cartoon character. And this is basically not, this is also another uh, graphic tee. And this is a combination of a lot of things. All right. So all these prints should be selected as other prints. Now again, as for this here, now one might argue that this design right here is a houndstooth design. However, the overall concept of this image is that the tee is a graphic tee. Okay, the houndstooth design should be covering the entire t-shirt if we were to choose it as a houndstooth design. Okay, now these are all examples of other prints. Now when you are attempting the task, please make sure you choose it as other prints. Do not select not applicable. Okay, now once you have completed all 35 tasks, you will be presented with a stop cancel task where you will basically need to cancel and exit the task. Okay, please make sure you familiarize yourself with the 33 categories that are available here and try to make sure you answer the classifications objectively. Okay, and that is how you perform blue steel qualification task.